You both know what's at stake here.
There isn't much road left.
Take the bloody shot. What do you say about a man like that?
3 months ago, you lost the drive containing the identity of every agent embedded in terrorist organizations across the globe.
007 reporting for duty.
Where the hell have you been?
Enjoying death.
I only have one question. Why not stay dead? There's no shame in saying you've lost a step.
They weren't targeting her. They wanted her to see it.
Welcome to the new MI6.
I'm your quartermaster. You must be joking.
Author PPKS 9mm short. It's been coded to your palm print, so only you can fire it. Less of a random killing machine, more of a personal statement.
Q.
007.
I want to meet your employer.
How much do you know about fear?
All there is.
Not like this. Not like him.
Just look at you, chasing spies. England, MI6. She sent you after me knowing you're not ready, knowing you would likely die. Mommy was very bad. The two survivors, this is what she made us.
Everybody needs a hobby.
So what's yours?
Resurrection.
When we reach Skyfall, the third film in Daniel Craig's installment of Bond, we find that there's a lot of different stories that are being played out. There's a lot of different scenarios that are going on. There is a massive question over whether or not the Ministry of Defence's 00 program is still even viable. James Bond is seen as a fossil, a relic. M herself is seen as a fossil, a relic, that she's too old to do the job, that she doesn't know what she's talking about anymore, that she has no sway. And they're trying basically to retire her off after a series of disasters happen one after the other. The final one being that a list of secret agents is leaked all over the internet, resulting in many secret agents' cover being blown and killed. She makes the point, which is a point I think we all need to consider. How safe are we now? Because it used to be years ago that the enemy was a terrorist, a face in the Middle East, in the United States, in Russia, in Britain. Now, the enemy, as they say, is online. It's one person, in their bedroom, in their pajamas, able to do more harm with a click of a button than 007 probably could do in an entire year. That's a direct quote from Q. And when we actually explore this, it is a game changer. Because for the first time ever, we are forced to really reflect and to think about our own worlds, about our own lives, about our own surroundings. How safe are we actually?
Chairman, Ministers, today I've repeatedly heard how irrelevant my department has become. Why do we need agents? The 00 section, isn't it all rather quaint? Well, I suppose I see a different world than you do. And the truth is that what I see frightens me. I'm frightened because our enemies are no longer known to us. They do not exist on a map. They're not nations. They're individuals. Now look around you. Who do you fear? Can you see a face, a uniform, a flag? No. Our world is not more transparent now. It's more opaque. It's in the shadows. That's where we must do battle. So before you declare us irrelevant, ask yourselves, how safe do you feel?
When you can go into a school in America and you can have children who are gunned down. When you can go into a church in America and you can have ministers, pastors, and church attendants shot. You can go into London and you can have people knifed and blown up. You can turn on your computer and find that your entire family's fortune has been wiped out like that. And they're talking about wanting us to be more online and to trust them more. Come on, folks, we've got to wake up. And that is the point that is being pushed in this film. That the old ways are not necessarily outdated relics. The old ways exist because they worked. Yes, there may be a better way of doing things now that's easier, more efficient, but sometimes, and I think many of you will agree with this, the presence of a physical human being means more to me and to you, I'm guessing, than just ease and comfort.
My late husband was a great lover of poetry, and I suppose some of it sunk in, despite my best intentions. And here today I remember this, I think, from Tennyson. We are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven. That which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
We meet Mr. Silver, played by the fantastic Javier Bardem, and we find a character here who both epitomizes humor, sociopathic, psychopathic, and everything in between. But somebody that when you actually look at the core of it shares a lot with Bond. And you suddenly begin to realize, oh wow, maybe you're not as alone as what you thought you were. Maybe you're not as messed up as what you thought you were. Because somebody else is sharing this same story.
You have changed their nature. The two survivors. This is what she made us.
I made my own choices.
You think you did. That's her genius.
Station H. Am I right? Hong Kong?
86 to 97. Back then, I was her favorite. And you're not nearly the agent I was, I can tell you that. Just look at you, barely held together by your pills and your drink.
Don't forget my pathetic love of country.
You're still clinging to your faith in that old woman. When all she does is lie to you.
She never lied to me.
No?
No.
What did you score on your marksmanship evaluation?
70.
40. Did she tell you the psychologist plead you for duty?
Yes.
No. No. Medical evaluation, fail. Physical evaluation, fail. Psychological evaluation, alcohol and substance addiction indicated. Oof. Pathological rejection of authority based on unresolved childhood trauma. Subject is not approved for field duty and immediate suspension from service advised. What is this if not betrayal? She sent you off to me knowing you're not ready, knowing you would likely die. Mommy was very bad.
Mr. Silver, the chief villain in this film, the story goes that he was captured. He was becoming too big for his britches, according to M. And she handed him over to the Chinese to be tortured for his secrets. In exchange, she got 6 agents who had been captured. And she found out that Mr. Silver had been moonlighting, had been dabbling here, there and everywhere. Well, the problem with that is, of course, if you don't ensure that the job is finished, then you can have a villain that comes back. And that's exactly what happens. Silver feels betrayed. The cyanide only burnt his mouth, it burnt his insides, and he is a complete deformed wreck. At the start of Skyfall, we see Bond being shot by Moneypenny. Accidentally, but shot nonetheless under M's orders. So Bond now returns to the story feeling completely betrayed. How could you do this to me? Why would you do this? And she shows no sign of remorse or care or even I'm sorry. And she just simply says, you knew this when you signed up for it. That's your apology.
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Feel the earth move and then hear my heart burst again. For this is the end. This moment, so overdue, I owe them. Swept away, I'm stolen. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall, I'll face it all. Together, let the sky fall. When it crumbles, we will stand tall and face it all together at Skyfall. At Skyfall. Skyfall is where we start. 1,000 miles and poles apart, where worlds collide and days are dark. You may have my number, you can take my name, but you'll never have my heart. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall. Face it all together, let the sky fall. When it crumbles, we will stand tall and face it all together at Skyfall.
The difference between Bond and Silver is that Bond would never betray king and country, or queen and country, depending when you watch this. King and country now. He would never betray M. He'd never betray all the things he stands for and all the things he holds nearest and dearest. And he's told, look, you've been shot. You're no longer fit for active duty. You're a psychological wreck. You're an alcoholic. You are a drug user. You are struggling to cope with the pain. You are not fit for active duty. You wouldn't be fit for an active duty if we gave you a month, 2 years, the rest of your life to prepare for this. You're done. And he's actually told, why didn't you stay dead? People in this line of work do not tend to stay around long. That gives you a complete insight there as to how numb Bond is. Anybody that's had dependency of any kind will tell you that they do it oftentimes not just because of the physical pain, but because every day when they wake up, they feel like garbage because of stuff that's happened to them.
I've just been reviewing Bond's tests. Seems you've passed, by the skin of your teeth. You're back on active service.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why not stay dead? You have the perfect way out. Go and live quietly somewhere. Not many field agents get to leave this cleanly.
Do you get out in the field much?
You don't need to be an operative to see the obvious. It's a young man's game.
In my own life, I went through so many things, as we've talked about in other shows, that I didn't know if I was ever going to smile again. But I know pills and alcohol was not the answer. So as the story develops really here in Skyfall, we're sort of at the halfway point for Daniel Craig's portrayal of Bond, and we see his loyalty to M. Silver escapes capture, and he's playing games with the Ministry of Defense. He's blowing things up, he's killing people, he's murdering secret agents. All to get back at M specifically. She's being forced into retirement, she's going. But she refuses to leave the ministry in a worse condition than what she found it. She's got a set of cojones. But as we see in the closing scenes, Bond realizes, I think more than anything else, that out of loyalty and out of respect for your duty and the person that you were brought in to be, amazing things will happen. And when you're loyal, and there is no other reason, there is no reason at all for you to be loyal to certain causes, but when you do it regardless, you'll find that people will be loyal to you, and even if they're not, do it anyway. And that's what happens. M is like Bond's mother figure. She adores him, she loves him, she's precious about him, and she wants the best for him. They end up going up to Scotland because they're like, this madman has literally been around, you know, and he's always got a step ahead of us. Well, now we need to drive him up to us. We need to take charge here. And of course, if you've watched the film Skyfall, you'll know that M, unfortunately, is shot, dies, and Bond once again is left alone. He makes peace with M, someone who he has struggled to be seen as equals with through the entire series. He makes peace with her, sees her more as a mother figure, and that she really cares about him. And in her final words, I got something right, she lets him know in her final breath, I chose you. You mean the world to me. Go forth, go on. Don't hate everyone.
I should get one thing right.
As we'll see in the final two films in next week's episode, The character of Bond has not yet finished developing. And I think that's something for us all to remember as we round out today's show, is that just because you think something now, because you believe something now, it doesn't mean you will believe it 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 20 years, 20 months from now. Be very, very careful. Live under the mantra of, I may say something now that I firmly believe, but I have not yet finished growing, so please be patient with me. It's a nice little poem, isn't it? And I'm delighted I managed to get it out without babbling it. But folks, when you look at Bond's character, pulling all three films together, we start out, as oftentimes happens, with the ego, the edging God out, the I'm the best thing that's ever happened here. Look at me, give me the attention. We see when life doesn't go as Bond thinks it should, or it doesn't go smoothly as I idealized, that something changes within him. When he puts himself forth and he falls in love, and that love is snatched away from him, it breaks him again and again and again, until literally, if you've ever tried doing this with an eggshell, and if you haven't, put out an eggshell to dry out, give it a week, come back and then bash it with a hammer. That's like being in love and having your heart, your emotional heart, broken into however many pieces, then bash it again and again and again and again, and what you end up with is eventually just this fine powder that is fit for nothing but good fertilizer for your lawn. Bond eventually does find peace in these three films. He lets Vesper go, he forgives her, because he understands. And I think a lot of the time it's in that understanding that we do find peace. Okay, we might be really angry at the person. How could they do that to me? They don't know what pain they've caused me, and whatever, fill in the blank. We always have those angry moments. And it may not be today, and it may not be tomorrow. But my prayer for you, my friend, wherever it is that you're watching this show from, is that if you're harboring a grudge towards somebody now, if you've been really, really hurt, if you're struggling beyond belief, my prayer is that eventually you'll ask yourself the most important universal question that there is. Why? Why did they do it? What was going on in their life? What was going on in their circumstances? Remember how we talk a lot of the time about the Rubik's Cube. In order to be able to understand somebody's behavior and why they do what they do, psychologists do this all the time, but I'm one of the few that will ever use the Rubik's Cube. You've got to be able to see it from the other person's perspective. Just something to think about today. Folks, I want to wrap out the show, and I want to say thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this, as I hope you're enjoying the entire series. Do forgive us for this episode being a little bit later than normal, because I tried to do this at the beginning of the week and I just could not get my words out, and I'm glad we waited until now to do it. So folks, if you've enjoyed this episode, go ahead, do all the good stuff, like, share and subscribe, comment in the section below, spend a little bit of time on there, have a conversation with me back and forth, because it lets YouTube know that this channel is worth supporting, it's worth investing in, it's worth actually telling other people about. And if you don't think that, then go away. But if you're still here watching till the end, you obviously do think that, and I want to thank you guys and girls so much for watching. Join us next week where we round out our James Bond episode, and I suppose double bill, where we're going to be talking about Spectre and what was the other one? No Time to Die, and continuing the portrayal of James Bond through the amazing work of Daniel Craig. Until next time, my friends, take care, God bless. Have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you very, very soon. Take care.